Okay, thank you. Uh, I'll do a presentation of what we had done some time back. This is largely on pomegranate cultivation. What should be kept in mind? And this was largely done in Karnataka. So I thought it would make more sense to share that with you. Also because pomegranate is a very, a good source of income if you get a good yield and the quality of the yield is very good. So therefore, I thought I'll deal with the technical part of pomegranate cultivation that was prepared some time back. Later on, there was COVID, so we couldn't take this into its logical conclusion. How do I go down? How do I go down? Yeah. The variety that one would prefer is Bagua. There is also Super Bagua now that has come. Because these fruits are transported to longer distance. There should be, it has a thick peel, so less weight loss, less possibility of damages. They have a longer shelf life, even at room temperatures. The fruits are tolerant to trips and mites, which reduces the number of pesticide and sprays, which minimizes the cost of production because that's an important uh, cost element for farmers. The fruits are moderately susceptible to black spots. Black spots would mean that you wouldn't get a better price. The customer would bargain. So as far as possible, if we don't get those black spots, it's much better. So what measures should be taken, we'll discuss that later. The fruits are free from blackening, even in case of late harvesting, because sometimes it's harvested late. It has no incidence of cracking of fruits, which is observed in other varieties like Ganesh, G137, Mridula. And cracking means that the buyer would be bargaining for a lower cost. There is no fruit drop observed in case of severe water shortages, shriveling, etc. takes place, but there's no fruit drop that takes place. This variety gives high yield. Farmers can get about 30 to 40 kg. We find normally farmers are getting only about 20-25 kgs. And hopefully this presentation will help you increase your yield by about 25-30% apart from the quality of the produce. It is comparatively late for harvesting, 6 to 7 months. But due to less expenses on protection measures, this is better. So as a cultivar, we would recommend Bagua as a preferred, but it's up to the local area and the farmers to choose. This is a comparison of Ganesh and Bagua. I think going through it doesn't much help. I can share this PPT on the vegetative characters, the comparison of Ganesh with Bagua. Ganesh, more traditional variety. On the flowering and fruit set, what is the incremental difference between Ganesh and Bagua? In terms of the yield attributes, you can see that the number of fruits per plant in Ganesh is about 111, but in Bagua it's about 147. So that's a considerable increase. Also, the kg per plant is much higher. So this is per hectare, the estimated yield is also given. Then there is a physical parameters of the fruit, which I don't think one needs to go into, but they matter in terms of marketing. So all this about the cultivar that you could think of. Now, in the Kadur area, which is Chikmagalur area, in Hassan district, where this study was done and data was collected, the farmers harvest it in August, September, and therefore they prefer flowering in end February or early March. The fruit sets in about March or April, and it takes about 6 months from flowering, pollination, for the fruit to be ready. This is the important point here, is that there is a very crucial value of the Bahar period in the case of Bagua variety or in case of pomegranate. So you have to withhold irrigation starting from end December. That is, you have completed the harvest earlier in about September, October, and then the plant goes on. The irrigation should be stopped end December to early January, or even till early February, because this is very crucial for the leaves to be shredded and new leaves to come up. The recommended spacing, these days you are going for high density and even ultra high density. The recommended spacing is about 4 meter by 4 meter, which is 12 feet by 12 feet, or about 253 trees per acre, which comes to 625 trees per hectare. So farmers in Kadur area grow Bagua variety. Pomegranate in South India is potentially keeping leaves throughout the year. That is what we find. Pomegranate is also grown in Gujarat and Rajasthan, apart from Maharashtra. But Karnataka is a very important area where pomegranates are grown. To induce flowering, pomegranate needs to be forced to shed its leaves. That is why I talked earlier about the Bahar period, where you leave the thing completely dry so that all the leaves are shed. To shed the leaves, for the flowering to take place, this is done by withholding water, as I said earlier, and subsequently you use ethyl to finalize shedding of leaves so that as many leaves as possible are going. When 75% of leaf shedding is completed, pruning has to be done while light irrigation and fertilization is done. So when all the shedding is done, then you apply the ethanol, a spray ethanol, then you give a very large dose of water of about 100 liters per tree, so that the entire soil profile is filled with water. Then flowering starts shortly after 5 to 7 days. First flowers are male that will drop. Later flowers are capable to set fruits about a month after being pollinated. So is this clear or should I continue? Yeah.
Please proceed, sir.
Yeah. So ensure there is proper phosphorus and boron, boron in very small quantity, of course, at flowering time, that is February to March, as these will boost flowering and fruit set. Because you want more flowering and more fruit, because yield is an important factor. So ensure proper phosphorus is available in the soil and apply boron if needed. During fruit formation, say mid-March till September, ensure proper nitrogen and potassium application. Further on, I will deal with the fertigation advisory. Apply 16 grams of calcium ammonium nitrate per tree on between July 1st and July 15th. So all these are measures by which you are improving the yield and its quality. Harvesting will start about August and will finish in September, because the harvest is, the fruit size growth is not uniform. So that's why it requires 2 months for you to harvest the pomegranate. And then, so that with that you finish the crop life cycle. Then in October, you prune the trees removing the top branches and water suckers, right? Vertical sidewards, so that this is the pruning that you farmers normally do. Then apply Bordeaux mixture to wounds, so that there is no disease that comes in. After pruning, wherever you have done the pruning, apply Bordeaux mixture to the wounds that stand exposed. After pruning, apply additional calcium ammonium nitrate, say 50 grams per tree, to kickstart the formation of new branches, right? So therefore, there should be new branches, which would mean that there would be more yield. Remove suckers from the bottom of the stem on a regular basis, because this is something that we observe happens. So this is how the orchard should look like, right? Defoliation followed by light pruning, right? Is done in pomegranate. The new flushes come on the tree between 8 and 12 days after the first irrigation, right? And then profuse flowering after Bahar treatments. I explained the Bahar part. And then you have heavy fruiting after Bahar treatment. Looking into fruit behavior and growth of trees, open center or vase-shaped training system, right? So that you have optimum growth, flowering, and fruiting. Well-grown, air-layered saplings of 5 to 6 months old should be planted and trained in multi-stem training system. This is when you get it from the nursery. What is it those saplings should be? Don't go in for too old or too young. 5 to 6 months old from a good nursery is important. Otherwise, you will be importing certain diseases into the soil that may come from the nursery. For this purpose, 3 to 4 healthy suckers may be allowed, and other suckers arising from the ground level may be removed regularly. In multi-system training, 3 to 4 strong stems with 6 to 8 strong fruiting branches, thick ones, because they must carry the weight of the plant, may be allowed to produce good quality fruits from the 4th year. So this we are talking about the harvest, when the harvest comes in. From after harvest, top buds of branches have to be removed, and very long horizontal branches should be shortened to prevent weight of fruits to break the branches. I explained this to you earlier. And as I said, always, when you inflict any wound on a plant, it is important that you apply Bordeaux mixture after pruning to prevent possible infections. So this is the proper multi-stem. You can see at the bottom how the stem is coming up. It has to be multi-stem. Now, here we use my system of irrigation, which is measured moisture delivered at the root zone, because in many areas water is very scarce, and in summer you find much more stress on the plant for water, as well as availability of water at that period is the least. SWAR is a system of measured moisture, and I'm sure the organizers can provide you more data on it. This is something that we have, is an innovation that we have, and we can give it to you. It is the first of its kind measured moisture diffuser, which is embedded at the root zone. The advantage of that is that, one, you will require much less water, 50 or 60% less water. Secondly, all the soluble nutrients can be sent through it, which means you can reduce soluble nutrients, which are expensive, by about 30 to 40%, and also increase its efficacy because it's going straight into the root zone. And so in your Ventura, when you supply it to the Ventura, do that. Third, there is no weed growth, and farmers have to spend a lot of money on weed, and labor is a big problem. About 80, so the roots are The SWAR is located, so SWAR, which means the System of Water for Agriculture Rejuvenation, which is our innovation. We find that the roots, most roots, active roots, are about 60 centimeter deep. So we have to keep it at around 30 centimeters so that there is both a gravity moisture as well as capillary spread so that it goes up as well. So that will be the ideal location where we put our SWAR system. About 87% of the roots are concentrated in the 45 centimeter depth. That's why I said to keep it between 25 to 30, and that is where most roots are. Along with that, if there is wherever there is moisture, roots themselves will tend to move towards that directions. Roots spread horizontally to about 90 centimeter radial distance. Now, this is important to know because then only you can plan how moisture is available all around. In the case of SWAR, we put it on both sides of the lateral, far away from the stem, because no active roots are there at the stem. It is away, and the general thing is most active roots are at about 2/3 of the canopy. So based on that, you locate SWAR and see that we also have a moisture probe by which you can know it's a portable moisture probe. It is electrical conductivity based, and that will give you an idea of the moisture spread is there so that you can take appropriate steps to see that moisture is available where the roots are active and well spread. Root activity horizontal direction revealed that in shallow and medium deep soil, majority of the roots activity, about 70%, 65 to 70%, were concentrated in 0 to 60 centimeter distance. While in case of deep clay soils, it extends up to 90 centimeters. So the roots are much deeper when it gets into this. So we place SWAR around 15 centimeter to up, but not more than 1 foot. And it's kept further away from the trunk by about 45 centimeters to 1 point or 1.5 feet. So these are all the things for the irrigation. So this is a picture. On the right, you see how from the drip lateral, we take it and a pit is dug and the SWAR buried diffuser is kept at that place. On the left, also you can see that on both sides is where we place SWAR. Now, the maximum application rates it depends on the infiltration. Okay, so soil type, be it clay or silt loam or clay loam or loam or fine sandy loam, you have to, based on that, this is a thing that I can provide. There's no point in explaining that. Why infiltration speed is important? If irrigation application is more than infiltration rate, water will stand on the top of the soil in case of the drip, or there will be a balloon of water around the dripper in case of subsurface drip. Upward transport of water increases in this case. If dripper applies 8 liters per hour, we might have a problem with Kadur soils as they will probably not absorb the water immediately. So you have to see that water provision is linked to the infiltration speed. Otherwise, this would mean that drip has to be operated at intervals requiring switching on and switching off. Farmers don't do that. So therefore, it is important that the infiltration rate based on your soil is kept in mind in Pomegranate and you control that accordingly. And nowadays, you also get remote controls to switch on and switch off the pump. So that can also be used if the farmer is not physically at the farm. In Kannur, most of the soils are loams. We see that the desired water content is about 13 volume% of the loamy soil. We should try to keep it at that level. Okay, so this is the PF curve of different soils and clay, loam, sand, etc., which gives you an idea. But these are too technical to discuss. Even I am not so fully familiar with them. So active root and the volume, this is another aspect. So the key thing is end February, as I told you, when the Bahar period is over, apply about 330 liters of water per tree to fill the soil, if fully dried, right? If fully dried, because there's no irrigation given in November and December. Of course, if there's rainfall, then you have to factor that in. This would require 10 hours of pumping, right? In Swar, we have 4 drippers per pomegranate tree, and each emit 8 liters. So this would require 10 hours so that you totally inundate it. If irrigation or rain reduce, then you can reduce it to 200 liters. But the point is to completely wet the soil. So water use, we dry out the soil in January and early February. All leaves will fall. That means that almost no water is used by pomegranate, as the stem will not evaporate water. All the leaf litter falls down. Then young leaves are formed. These expand and become larger in surface. These leaves will evaporate more water as they become more in number and larger. Thus, the water use will increase. So you have to keep on increasing the irrigation as per the foliage. Then fruits are also starting to develop. They also need water, right? At a certain moment, the leaves will become old and will require less water to grow and will evaporate less water. So evapotranspiration is brought down. Fruits are then harvested, so no water is used by fruits anymore. In the next slide that is seen, we see the Kc value, right? This gives you the Kc value of it during the initial 21 days, 71 days, mid-season, late season, and the resting season. This is data for a 5-year-old pomegranate tree, because there will be variations based on the age. But more or less, by year 5, they come to full maturity and have the highest yield. So this is taken from the weather parameter from the Bangalore Agriculture University. So it tells you what is the rainfall. This will have to be varied according to different places. And with climate change and all of that, lots of these things are changing. So these have to be localized. And I think you must get that from your local weather station. So this is the irrigation that we followed in the different months. And this is the week per week, how much did we apply, right? Per tree is given here. So as you can see, February, etc. is 0, which is the Bahar period. So age-wise requirement, it will be in January 8 liters, 4th year ones, February, March, etc. We are giving you based on how it will vary if the Bahar period is sometime else, right? This is the evapotranspiration probability. This is okay. I have another 5-10 minutes. So age of the tree, 1, 2, 3, 4. How much of farmyard manure should you apply? We have developed a inoculum which improves farmyard manure, and you can get in touch with us and we can give it to you. It comes with both native microbes with biodiversity along with mycorrhizae fungi. This is very important if you can apply, prepare and apply, because it will increase your yield and the quality of the yield. The quality of the yield is very important because that's the basis of pricing. This is the nitrogen requirement. In grams, 250 in year 1, going up to 600 and above in year 2, in year 5. Phosphorus from 125 for the first 4 years, it has to be doubled when the yield starts to begin. Potash is also doubled. This is taken from another source. So, assuming a 55 kg yield, I mean, that was what we put as our ambition. This is what we found. So, the pH of irrigation water should be less than 6.5, right? This is what we find. At planting, give about 1 kg of enriched neem cake per planting hole, right? Neem cake powder, neem cake is enriched one, right? Then along with it, you apply farmyard manure, vermicompost, or you apply living soil that we can give you advisory on how to make it. Neem cake, trichoderma formulation, phosphate solubilizing bacteria, azotobacteria formulation. This is all what you have to do because pomegranates require all this to have a faster growth and better yield. So this is the venturing, as you can see, how from it fertigation setup is done. And please keep this in mind. 1 month before hearting, right? This is what we see. True drip irrigation applications of calcium nitrate, 4 kgs per acre or 16 grams per trip in 10 to 55 liters, depending on the age of the crop. Then zinc, ferrous, etc. are there, have been reported to be more limiting micronutrients in pomegranate. So these have to be compensated for. Composite nutrients sprays are available these days of ferrous sulfate, manganese sulfate, boric acid, and zinc sulfate to be applied. These are formulations that you can buy from your FPO or from the shop. So flower initiation is March, flower setting is April, fruit begins in May. This is the leaf nutrient analysis. This is not valid for you, but it is important because leaf nutrients, root to shoot stem ratio or all aspects that we are interested in while we are pushing ecological agriculture. Now let's come to a couple of them and with that. Diagnosis, you can see the leaf here. This shows that there's a nitrogen deficiency, restricted plant growth. First symptoms appear on the lower and mature leaves. Yellowing is seen uniformly or on whole leaf, right? You can see it here on the left. Subsequently, whole leaves turns yellow, starting from the tip downwards. Leaves become stiffer in strength. Plants flower early with more hermaphrodite flowers, which means there's no yield. At advanced stage, leaves become light brown, followed by drying up from the tip. So this is a thing of in case of nitrogen deficiency. Phosphorus, again you can see the picture here. Phosphorus leads to stunted plant growth. First symptom appears on younger leaves. Leaves become slender, elongated, and smaller in size. Leaf margins turn upwards and get tunnel-like shape. This leads to yellowing of leaf starts from the tip. Only other parts remain green. In advanced stage, total leaf becomes yellow, followed by appearance of chlorotic spots, which later on turns dark brown. They are the veins also turn yellow. So this is the nitrogen part we saw, the phosphorus part. Potassium, first symptom, I mean, what are the symptoms of that deficiency? Appears in older leaves. Many brown spots appear on dorsal side of leaves, right? along with leaf margin starting from the tip. Leaf margin becomes yellow, followed by scorching appearance. So you know that these are potassium deficiency leads to the death of the of the of this plant. Then there is calcium. First symptom appears on younger leaves. Intervenal following yellowing starts from leaf tip. It's advanced from margin towards midribs. Then it moves to veins, remain green during initial stages, and in later stages become yellow. Pinkish tinge appears on the yellow portion of the leaf. Yellow portion of leaves turn dark brown in color, and half of the leaf from the top start drying up. So this is a symptom of calcium deficiency. So you have to take appropriate measures for it. Magnesium is another thing. Leaf margin and vein. This is a symptom of that deficiency. Vein appear light green in color. Gray patches appear on the side margin of the leaves. Subsequently, covers whole leaf. Leaves show drying up sign. The color of the leaves is gray, while in the case of calcium, it is dark brown. Sulfur, this deficiency appears in the middle leaf. Leaf veins become light, green in color. Yellowing starts on the middle of the leaf, around the midrib. Intervenal area turns yellow in color, and the whole leaf becomes yellow. So this is all to give you an idea of what is the deficiency and what is required. Iron, the deficiency of iron first appear on younger leaves, intervenal chlorosis, followed by complete yellowing and subsequently drying of the leaf. This is also another important factor. Then you have the neurotic spots with yellow, hollow yellow on the leaves, bacterial blight, nodal blight on young twigs. So these are all the blight, which is a big problem. And this leads to lesions with cracks on the fruit, as you see on the right side. So sanitation is very, if infected, if blight symptoms are observed on stems, prune and remove infected twigs. Prune about 5 centimeters below the infected area. Apply Bordeaux paste 10% to the cut after pruning. Oil-based pastes like COC paint, etc., or Chabutia paste, these are all available in the market, right? Should be preferred for pasting the cut ends in the rainy season. So sanitation is very important if blight is not, you are not victim of blight. All plant debris, this is very important. All these are infected material, should be collected and burned. Don't throw it out because it will reinfect your own farm. Orchard sanitation should be strictly maintained. So these are so this is the management of bacterial blight. What is the spray to be done, etc., etc. And this will give you, and when to do it, this data is given here also. And how much to spray and at what time to spray, preferably in the evening. So the effectiveness of various treatments, these have been produced by scientists. So this will give you an idea of what happens. But these are more for scientists, and we as farmers needn't worry about it. But if we do all the sanitation practices we talked about, I think we are done. So this in brief is the practices. What you need to understand is that pomegranate is a crop whose size is big, color is big, taste is sweet. You will get a very good price. But if it's shriveled, black spots, small in size, you won't even get 1/3 of the price. So it is better to go for quality of the fruit, for which, as I told you, you can write to us on two things. One is the moisture diffuser, SWAR, which we can provide to you. And the other is how do you prepare local microbe inoculum and mycorrhizae for the healthy plant growth, because then the taste is much better. And once the taste is better, farm customers would be willing to pay more money, and it will have a longer shelf life. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. First question. Sir, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir, so that we can see your full video? Yes. What value-added products can be derived from pomegranate, and how do they impact the overall profitability of cultivation?
Well, I think the value-added thing is not something that we worked on. Pomegranate's value inherently as a fruit increasing has been our agenda. Of course, you can make juices out of it, and you can make jams out of it. It even is claiming to have therapeutic value, but I won't get into that because that has not been what our forte has been. We are saying, how do you produce good quality pomegranate with a good yield and can fetch you a good income? What further can be done? I think it's the FPOs or the industry that has to think through it. And also because you sell the whole skin along with the skin, there's nothing that we see as value addition at the farmer level, apart from proper packaging and labeling. That is the only value that customers would think and pay for.
Yes, sir. I'll move on to the next question. How does consumer demand for pomegranate change seasonally, and how do marketers adjust their strategies accordingly?
Well, I think I haven't done much work on marketing, but please remember, if you get a good crop, good size, good yield, good quality, you earn a lot of money. I have seen a farm where 8 acres of pomegranate, right, medium density, was sold to a buyer for 1.6 crores. So there's plenty of money provided you do a very good job of it. The thing is that India supplies pomegranate to Bangladesh, etc. So that's a market we export to. I think to Nepal also we export. But the areas that grow pomegranate are Gujarat, Rajasthan. They serve the North Indian market. The South Indian market is basically in Bombay and the rest of India. In East India, pomegranate consumption is not seen as high as one sees in the rest of India. So, and because there is variation of when the harvest comes, it is possible that pomegranate is available for about 4 to 6 months in a year, but originating from different places.
Okay. And move on to the next question, sir.
Yeah.
What are the economic benefits and challenges of cultivating pomegranates compared to other crops?
See, the thing about the varieties that have been in Bhagwa, Super Bhagwa has come from Jain. So therefore, the care that it requires is very, very high. It is not like some other crops where one single factor would not undermine the entire production. Here, each factor is important. So if you are a pomegranate farmer, you have to be at the farm due diligence invest, take all the measures, then you will see real money, right? Otherwise, you will not see. So pomegranate is very sensitive crop, and it has export potential also. India should be rising to that when we are having quality pomegranate, and so that's the thing, that it is not any other crop like paddy. You just grow it and then water it and then forget it and then throw some urea or NPK. That's not how it is. Or even compared to other fruit crops, except possibly grape, which requires a lot of attention, right? Even apple does not require much attention. Mango does not. There could be some diseases that could come that you know and you can control it. But in pomegranate, it's both the soil, it's the humidity, it is the temperature, it is sanitation, sanitary practices. Those are all very crucial. In fact, if you see in India, many agriculture consultants, their occupation is on pomegranate. Most of them are pomegranate consultants. I know a consultant from Nashik who serves the market in Gujarat and Rajasthan. And farmers rent him. He flies down from Nashik, goes, gives them advice, etc. He is also bringing in new things which we are yet studying, which are basically seaweeds and how they can improve the pomegranate quality of the yield. But that still has to be done. But in Kadur area also, there are 3 guys who are pomegranate consultants. They're not farmers. They're ex-scientists, either retired scientists or retired horticulturists from the government department. But they are not updated. They are still not really state of the art. So we must think of how their ability to serve the farmer can be increased. We are not working on it, and therefore they give advice which is not in tune with the realities that are now emerging, both in production and in produce quality.
Okay, then we go to the next question, sir. What sustainable practices are being implemented in pomegranate cultivation to minimize environmental impact?
Look, I think what we are propagating is that reduce the application of petrochemicals, right? Uh, uh, so therefore, our buried diffuser helps you drastically reduce that. Secondly, in your own farm, all right, Jack, you buy one compost. Use your farmyard manure and upgrade. We develop that. It works very, very well. So therefore, sustainability would call for more dependence on biological rather than chemical. But there are certain micronutrients that soil deficiencies that has to be added, right? Because soil has the physical, that is almost nature given, then there is chemical composition of it, and there is a biological. So the matching of the 3 has to be done. It has to be very customized. But the more we shift towards biological, the more we shift towards irrigation based on moisture that the plant requires, not flooding, over flooding, causing root diseases, etc., we are on the right pathway. Sustainable practices is a challenge in almost everything, because you also have to think of the farmer's income and the yield. So what is the way in which you have to make a choice has to be done. But certainly pomegranate is consumed by richer people, richer because it is a costly fruit. So therefore, the more you produce healthy, organic, biologically promoted, produced pomegranate, you will find that there will be a very good market. Even for export, those would be the requirements. So I would say measured moisture along with microbes which are native and mycorrhiza, which is fungi, would give you the entire holistic requirement that is supplemented with certain chemicals or biochemicals that are soil deficient. There, reduce the application. Quantity applied should be brought down. That is what we do. That's why in our swar system, the moisture, the nutrients are all supplied at the root level. So nothing is wasted or washed away. Not only does it reduce the cost, but it also stops reducing the contamination of the soil by these other things. So moderation is one way, and slowly reducing it and shifting from petrochemicals into biologicals should be the pathway for sustainability.
Okay. Can you share success stories or case studies of pomegranate farmers who have implemented effective marketing techniques to achieve higher profits?
Look, I think the point is that the marketing technique, marketing route is one part. It could be that, like, for example, in Kadur, there are FPOs, farmers producer organizations, who do the marketing of pomegranate. So that could be, they are also input suppliers as well as output takers. The farmer's focus should be primarily to produce quality pomegranate with an yield of about 35 to 40 kg per plant, right? Those, if he does, then the market should be able to come to him, because they're also looking who is producing quality. So who is producing healthy? Even now, I know people who will go to a select pomegranate farm and take from there only. They won't take it from anywhere, because the feeding practices to your soil are crucial, right? So therefore, there is no one marketing thing. Be very sure that the product that you offer is of quality, looks attractive, and the price is a volatility of the market. I know there are middlemen involved, etc. But farmers are getting organized. The government is supporting FPOs in a big way. Although I don't see that much in the fruit producers coming together. This is something which will take time to happen. But I can tell you, as I gave you the example of in Rajasthan, the 1.6 crores over 7 acres for one crop was amazing. I was surprised to see that. So there is money in it. The produce was straight picked and sent to Bangladesh. So they will come to you. Today, the people who are buying are also looking for good quality produce. So of course, you are only one farmer, it doesn't help. You have to syndicate with other farmers. All of you should improve your practices. All of you should raise the benchmark of the quality of your produce, and then automatically the buyers will come in. After all, pomegranate cannot be eaten in the villages. They have to come to cities, and you need the marketing people to do it. Of course, there's another thing that's coming up because of big shops that are coming up, chain. It is also possible that you can have a tie-up with them. And if they recognize yours as quality, they will certainly value you. This can be it can be Reliance, or it can be any other. They are all looking for that product, because pomegranate has a longer shelf life. It is hardy, so you can tie up with one of them and get the best value.
Okay. What are the various methods of post-harvest handling and the storage to prolong the shelf life of pomegranates?
Really, I mean, certainly cold storage and all doesn't work, right? It has to be kept in a medium temperature. As I told you, pomegranate stays for a month without any problem. And it's a very fast moving item. And no produce actually, apart from cereals and legumes, stay in the shelf for a longer period than that. It's also hardy, so therefore it doesn't get broke. That's why I recommended Bagua or Super Bagua, because it doesn't break in transit, etc. The problem that you see, if it was supporter, you would have a huge problem, right? But it is not so in the case of pomegranate. Okay.
Okay. How can farmers calculate the cost of production and access the profitability of pomegranate cultivation?
That's what I'm saying. No, I've given all the items or steps to be taken. They have to calculate it. They must keep a notebook. They must write down. They must see which one is cheaper, which one works better, what is the equation between cost and efficiency. So these are all parameters that the farmer has to work on. This is not an industrial production where I can tell you this is the cost, this is the outcome, right? It is not. It is a production of nature. It varies according to your soil health treatment practices, your hygiene practices. So there are multiple variables, but the benchmark should be that you must realize at least 60 to 70 rupees per kg of the pomegranate that you produce.
Okay.
I told you, that farmers in many places are paying 20,000 rupees to the consultant. So it means that there is money in it. They realize that. But we have to maximize that revenue for the farmer.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Mr. S.K. Gopal for the talk and for answering the question. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you.
Most welcome.